gonna step, I'll send the system out, and she will make sure nobody's discussing it.
Okay, very good. All right, let's bring in the jury.
All rise. All jurors out there.
Okay, very good. Welcome back. Okay, state who's going to be your next witness.
Sergeant Anthony Portman.
Okay.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your full name for the record.
Sergeant Anthony Portman,
How are you employed?
Tampa Police Department,
How long have you been with the Tampa Police Department?
approximately 23 years.
Were you working on June 23rd of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that you were a sergeant, is that correct?
That's correct.
What was your assignment at that time?
I run District 2, Squad 205. I have 6 officers under me that night, and we actually work from Fowler Avenue down to Bush Boulevard, and from 56 out to Armenia is our area of responsibility. And our scheduled time was from 1900 hours to 06:30 in the morning.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you specifically about June 23rd, 2024, the early morning hours. Did you respond to the Home2 Suites located at 1606 McKinley Drive?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What time did you receive a call regarding that hotel, Home2 Suites?
Approximately 4:40 in the morning.
Did you get any other information when you got dispatched out there?
There was just multiple shots fired and somebody was hit or injured.
How were you dressed on that particular time?
The same uniform I'm wearing currently.
And what type of vehicle do you drive?
At that time, I was driving a white Dodge Charger.
When you were responding to that location, how far away were you?
I was currently at 48th and Bush Boulevard. We were sitting at Truth Lounge because there's a club there that we were sitting on. Responded lights and sirens all the way up to Fowler Avenue and 40th Street.
Why were you at Truth Lounge? Is that Truth 18 Lounge?
Yes, ma'am.
How far away is Truth 18 Lounge from that hotel, that Home2 Suites and Holiday Inn?
I'd say roughly about 3 miles.
Why were you at Truth 18?
Because we had multiple issues over the course of that year. It's an after hours kind of club. So we sat there to stop the people from gathering outside and causing issues.
Had you or anyone in your squad gotten any information or intelligence that a rapper by the name of Julio Foolio would be at that club that night?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that also one of the reasons why you were set up at that particular location?
We didn't know he was going there at that current time. We knew he was going to be in the area and he might go to Teasers, which was off of Nebraska Avenue. But truth, we didn't know he was going to until later on.
While you were set up at Truth 18, did anything happen at that location at that point?
No, ma'am.
And you said you responded over to the hotel at 4:40 because in reference a shooting, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
How long did it take to get from where you were set up at Truth 18 to Home2 Suites?
Probably roughly maybe 2 minutes.
What did you see when you were going to that location?
I was responding priority northbound on 40th Avenue towards Fowler Avenue. As I got to the intersection of 40th and Fowler, Home2 Suites is to my left. I was going to have to make a U-turn in order to go into the hotel. At that point in time, a silver Hyundai came in front of me basically through the intersection, over the sidewalk, over the curb area, through the bushes and into the hotel. So at that time, I proceeded after that vehicle.
What did you do after that?
I followed that vehicle around the south side of Home2 Suites all the way to the north side to where she stopped the car. They started exiting the car. 2 females and a male exited the vehicle. One of the females was yelling, "Hey, her boyfriend was shot. Check on him. Is he still alive?" So at that time, I looked over and saw the other vehicle.
What did you see when you saw the other vehicle?
I saw the vehicle sitting there, multiple bullet holes through the front windshield, and I also saw one gentleman laying inside the vehicle.
What did you do at that point?
I ran over to the vehicle to check if there's any signs of life. At that point in time, there was no signs of life. Noticed there was a blood trail running from the vehicle into the hotel. My other officers got on scene and proceeded into the hotel because we thought there possibly could be an active shooter inside the hotel.
Before we go into that, when you say that you checked for signs of life, how did you do that?
I checked for pulse, breathing.
Was there any pulse or was the victim breathing at that point?
No, ma'am, it was not.
I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 2E. It's already in evidence. Do you recognize the vehicles in this photograph?
Yes, ma'am. The vehicle on the right is the one I stopped with the doors opened. That's where the people got out of. And then the vehicle to the left is the one with the bullet holes and where the gentleman was laying.
And part of you, when you were testifying, you said that that vehicle, in order to get back into this hotel, did it leave the roadway at some point to make this entrance?
Yes, ma'am. It actually crossed over the curb area, sidewalk, and through bushes in order to get back into the hotel.
Did you have any concerns about this vehicle initially when you first came into contact with the vehicle?
I thought it was part of the scene somehow.
And you said at some point your other officers from your unit, ones that you supervised, arrived. Is that correct?
Yes.
Approximately how many officers arrived?
6.
And you said, what was your first priority?
My first priority was life-saving at that point. So we wanted to make sure he was still alive to get the fire in there. And then second of all, to check inside the hotel to make sure there's nothing going inside the hotel.
Did officers from the USF Police Department also respond and assist?
Yes, they showed up just after I got there.
Did you go into any of the hotels?
I went into the hotel that's next to the Home2 Suites. I forget the name of it.
Is it the Holiday Inn?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why did you focus on that particular hotel?
Because if you, later on, you'll see a blood trail running from the vehicle across the sidewalk into that hotel. And then once inside the hotel, there's multiple blood everywhere inside the front doors.
How many of your officers responded to the Holiday Inn?
All 6 of them.
What did you do once you got to the Holiday Inn?
Once we got this secured outside, I had USF PD stay with the people that were outside in this vehicle to secure this scene. Officer Godcharles found the bullet casings at the Home2 Suites, so he stayed at that scene. The other officers ran into the hotel to start doing basically a search to see if there was anybody in the hotel with a firearm or anybody else that needed injuries because of all the blood.
Why do you have Officer Godcharles post at the scene where you find the shell casings?
Because that's the primary scene.
And you said the others all then proceeded into the hotel, the Holiday Inn. Did you proceed with them?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened once you got into the Holiday Inn?
We started doing a coordinated search of the hotel, just going up and down all the hallways, all the stairwells. Once we got into the first part of the hotel, there's main blood all over the front steps as you go into the hotel. And then we went to the left, and there's actually blood on one of the door handles. So we stopped at that door to make sure the people inside there were okay and that nobody went into that room because it looked like somebody entered that room.
Okay. Were you able to do that and confirm whether or not there was anybody in that room associated with the event that happened outside?
Yes, ma'am. There was nobody associated. They opened the door and said everything was fine. And then we proceeded to the elevator where the blood continued up through the elevator.
During the course of your search, not only on the first floor but other floors, are there occupied guests in that Holiday Inn?
Yes, ma'am.
What can you tell the jury, and you don't have to go into each one, but are there guests that are trying to exit or opening the doors or having questions as you're doing this clearing of the hotel?
Yes.
And you said that you were able to confirm, especially the door that had the blood on it, that there were not any suspect in that room. Is that correct?
That's correct, ma'am.
Where did you go after that?
I proceeded up the elevator to the third floor where two of my officers were, Officer Conway and Officer Gale, because they were with the two subjects that were actually shot from the vehicle.
Okay.
They were on the third floor.
What happened once you got to the third floor and made contact with those two officers?
I exited the hallway, saw that they were giving basically life-saving measures, trying to take care of the blood, and just looked around, made sure that floor was secured, and proceeded to the fourth floor to secure that floor.
Did it appear that both of those persons that were in contact with your law enforcement officers on the third floor had injuries?
Yes, they did, from what I saw.
And what did you do at that point?
After we got done securing the hotel, I went back outside trying to get the fire department to come in to take care of the two subjects on the third floor, and then started getting more officers with my lieutenant to the scene from the rest of the department to try to secure the rest of the scenes that we had going on.
Did USF Police Department, while you and your officers were clearing the Holiday Inn and that hotel, did they stay outside in this area 2E where the vehicle containing the victim was to make sure, again, that no one else is going inside that vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Is eventually homicide detectives and a homicide sergeant called out to the scene to take over the investigation of the case?
Yes, ma'am, they were.
I've previously shown you several photographs of the Holiday Inn. Judge, at this time, we would introduce into evidence States Exhibit 2A through M, as well as 3A through P, and 4A through R.
Any objection?
No objection.
Be admitted.
Sergeant Portman, I'm going to start with 2A. Can you tell us, and let me minimize this a little bit, what is being depicted in 2A?
That's the entrance to the Holiday Inn. That's going to be off, it's facing towards Fowler Avenue.
And I'm going to go back just to 2E, if you can, and if you need to get down, you can. Can you point out from where the victim's vehicle is, where is kind of the pathway? You said there was some blood that you followed. Can you show us what pathway you and your officers took?
Yeah, you'll see a pathway coming out of these doors towards that way, towards the front of the Holiday Inn.
Okay. And you can kind of see this brick building in that picture, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that's if you go back to the other picture, it's to the right of that vehicle. So the Holiday Inn's actually to the right. Yes, ma'am, so.
And actually, I have a better angle. And what is in 2B?
That's going to be the victim's vehicle being shot up, and then the Holiday Inn directly behind it.
Is this a different angle of that captured? in
Yes, ma'am,
2C?
that's going to be the back side of the victim's vehicle.
And then 2B?
That will be the people that I stopped, their vehicle.
And here is at the front of the Holiday Inn?
Yes, ma'am.
2F?
It will be the Holiday Inn and then the vehicle that I stopped going through the parking lot.
And then 2G?
It's just the Holiday Inn.
Go to 2J?
That's the front, like, driveway entrance, and the front doors are to the right on that picture to enter the Holiday Inn.
And then can you see what's trying to be captured in 2J?
Yes, ma'am. You got the front doors of the Holiday Inn to the left, and then there's the blood trail going up the sidewalk and into the front doors.
And after the homicide unit arrived, did you brief them as to what you and your officers did when you first arrived on scene?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
And at this time, we pass the witness.
Okay, cross-examination.
Good morning, Sergeant Portman.
Good afternoon, sir.
Is it afternoon?
It's
Yeah.
close. Yeah, it's close to it.
Okay. You discovered a Glock, or your unit discovered a Glock on Taifa McCray?
My unit did not, not that I'm aware of.
Did anyone discover a Glock on Taifa McCray?
Yes, someone at the, I believe it was HCSO at the Advent Health.
All right. And do you know who Taifa McCray is?
He's one of the people that we came in contact with.
One of the victims in the case?
Yes.
All right. Did you yourself discover any guns or firearms?
I did not, no, sir.
Did anyone in TPD discover any firearms?
Not that I'm aware of.
All right.
I know the one at the university, or not the university, sorry, Advent Health, I know there was one there, but I'm not aware of the other ones.
The one at Advent Health, is that the same one we were just talking about for McCray?
I believe so,
Okay, so just one firearm that you know of.
that I know of, yes.
All right, and you did an initial investigation on the scene of the crime, right?
What do you include as initial investigation?
So just like going to the scene, trying to figure out what happened, trying to help people, that sort of thing.
Yes.
All right, and after that day, did you do any work on this case?
No, sir.
All right, so that was your sole involvement in the case.
That's correct, it's that night.
All right, so you don't have anything to say about whether Alicia Andrews intended to kill Charles Jones?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Okay, redirect.
Just briefly. Sergeant Portman, you said that you were only aware of one firearm that was collected by an individual at Advent Health. Is that Advent Health Hospital? Is that correct?
That's correct.
And that would have been because that was reported by eventually the deputies to another one of your officers.
That's correct.
As far as any other guns or firearms that are recovered in this investigation, would that information be funneled to the case detective in the homicide unit?
Yes, it would be.
I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes.
Thank you, you're free to go.
Thank you.
All right, state who's your next witness.
Judge, I believe it is Officer De Jesus with Mr. Harmon. Can I have one moment just to make sure?
Yes.
Yeah, if not, we can call. Are you ready on De Jesus? Okay. Officer Bernardo De Jesus. Sir, affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, Mr. Harmon, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name and spell spell both names, please?
Yes, sir. My name is Bernardo De Jesus. My first name is spelled Bernardo. Last name is spelled Dejesus.
And where are you employed, sir?
The city of Tampa.
Okay. And what do you do with the city of Tampa?
I work I'm a police officer for the street anti-crime unit as well as the bomb squad.
Okay. So you have two separate duties.
Yes, sir.
What is your rank?
I'm a master police officer.
Okay. Officer De Jesus, how long have you worked total time with the Tampa Police Department?
I just hit my 11-year anniversary with the Tampa Police Department.
Okay. Do you have prior law enforcement experience before that agency?
Yes, sir.
And where did you work prior to that?
I worked approximately 2.5 years with the City of Temple Terrace Police Department.
So I want to start with, was that your first experience in law enforcement?
Temple Terrace was, yes, sir.
Okay. And so Temple Terrace is a agency adjoining the city of Tampa. Their jurisdictions lay next to each other.
Yes, sir. It borders the City of Tampa to the east in Hillsborough County.
Okay. And so Temple Terrace actually is not too far from the crime scene in this case, correct?
No, it's probably approximately 10 to 15 blocks.
When, prior to working for Temple Terrace Police Department, did you attend a police academy?
I did, yes, sir.
And how long was that a police academy?
Approximately 6 to 7 months.
Okay. In that police academy, was there a component that dealt with firearms training?
Yes, sir.
How long was that component? Was that something that was consistent throughout the academy, or was there a designated time period?
There was a designated time period where the bulk of it happened, but I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, it was quite some time ago, that we did go back to the range several times.
Okay. And were you trained on the use of handguns and certain long guns?
Yes, sir.
The long guns that you were trained on, did that include AR platform rifles?
Yes, sir.
Prior to working at Temple Terrace, did you have experience with AR platform rifles?
Their military variant, yes, sir.
Okay. And were you in the military?
I was.
In what branch?
I served in the Marine Corps.
Okay. How long were you in the Marine Corps?
I'm assuming you're attempting to lay a predicate.
I am, Your Honor.
Opinion of his regarding AR-15s?
Yes,
the
Your
AR
Honor.
platform? Okay, overall, go ahead.
May you please repeat the question, sir?
Yes. How long were you in the Marine Corps?
4 years, sir.
So a single enlistment?
Yes, sir.
In the Marine Corps, did you receive training in certain small arms weapons platforms?
I did, yes, sir.
Did that include the M4 or CAR-15 and the M16?
Yes, sir.
Are those both AR platforms
Yes, sir.
or AR-style platforms?
They are.
And are both of those, at least as far as the military, chambered in 5.56?
Yes, sir.
Did you deploy in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir, twice.
And did you utilize those weapons in combat in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir.
And was that, where was that?
I served on a PSD team in Iraq from 2008 until 2009, and then I served as a machine gunner in Afghanistan from 2009 to 2010.
Okay. When you worked for the city of Temple Terrace, were you certified under state of Florida guidelines as a law enforcement officer?
Yes, sir.
And to maintain that certification, did that require that you go through annual qualifications on firearms?
Yes, sir.
When you were with the city of Temple Terrace, did you qualify with a pistol?
Yes, sir.
And did you qualify with a long gun?
I did,
And which long gun did you qualify on?
with an AR-15.
And was that chambered in 5.56?
Yes, sir.
When you were with the city of Temple Terrace, did you carry an issued sidearm?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what type of firearm was that?
It was a Glock 22.
Okay, so that is a Glock manufactured handgun.
Yes, sir.
Since you have worked with the city of Tampa, have you carried a sidearm, whether it's issued or personally owned?
Yes, sir.
And what type of sidearm have you carried with the city of Tampa?
My initial firearm that was issued was a Smith & Wesson M&P chambered in .40 caliber. My second firearm was a 6-hour P320, and then I carry a Glock 47. Yes, Glock 47 chambered in 9mm.
Okay. And how many years have you carried the Glock pistol?
I would say at least 5 years.
All right. Now, I want to back up. Outside of the Marine Corps and your law enforcement experience, do you have other experience in your personal life dealing with Glock firearms and AR-style rifles or platforms?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell the jury about that experience?
My other experience with firearms is competitive shooting.
Okay. And would that include USPSA competitions?
Yes, sir.
Would you consider yourself to be a firearms enthusiast?
Yes, sir.
Pursuant to your competitions in your personal life, do you train?
Yes, sir.
And is that frequent?
As frequent as I can, sir, yes.
Okay. And is that something that you have to do to stay competitive in those types of competitions?
I would argue competitive and proficient for my job.
And do you also compete in, stay proficient in those competitions because that translates, like you just said, to being proficient as far as a police officer with your handgun?
Yes, sir.
Have you paid for and attended personally, paid out of your pocket, paid for firearms classes?
Yes, sir.
And have that included training where you're working with high-level, national-level handgun competitors?
Yes, sir.
Annually, how many rounds do you fire through Glock platforms?
I would say at least 10,000 rounds.
And have you maintained that rate of use of a Glock firearm over the last several years?
Yes, sir.
Do you maintain familiarity with the firearms community and the firearms industry?
To the best of my ability, yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the AR platform and its common chamberings?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with, you've talked about the 5.56 round, are you familiar with the 300 blackout round?
I am.
Is that a common chambering in in an AR-15 platform?
Not as common as 5.56, but it is a semi-common chambering.
Okay. Are you familiar with companies that manufacture components for AR-15 rifles, such as Magpul?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with Sig Sauer, which is another firearms manufacturer?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the companies that manufacture ammunition, such as Remington and Federal?
Yes, all the main ones, I am.
Okay. Are you familiar with a type of handgun ammunition known as Max Tech?
I am.
And the Max Tech chamberings in 9mm, is that a common range ammo?
Yes, it is.
Are you familiar with the term as it's utilized when attending range sessions or training with firearms, the term brass?
Yes.
What does that mean in that context?
Brass is a common usage term for the material or for the casing of a bullet or a projectile. It's not always brass like the actual material. Sometimes it's aluminum or steel, but it's referred to as brass, which is the casing that holds the gunpowder and the projectile.
Okay. So just as an example, when you attend firearms training through the Tampa Police Department, and there's a range not too far from here, correct?
Yes, sir. It's on 34th Street.
And that's maintained by the city of Tampa?
Yes.
When you attend firearms training there, and they may now have some type of machine that does this, but are you typically ordered to either police your
Yes.
to clean up the range? And that means the expended shell casings when you're firing your handgun.
Yes, for semi-auto handguns, yes.
Semi-automatic handguns, is the AR-15 commonly a semi-automatic rifle?
It is.
And does it expel a shell casing when it fires?
Yes.
Same with a Glock pistol, a 9mm Glock pistol?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with an item known as a brass catcher?
Yes, I am.
And what is a brass catcher?
A brass catcher is something that is affixed to the ejection port of a firearm that is used to collect brass prior to it hitting the ground.
Okay. So are there brass catchers that are manufactured and produced for attachment to an AR-style rifle?
Yes.
So they're designed to catch the casings as they're coming out
Yes, sir.
into a mesh-type bag,
Yes.
basically? Okay. Are you familiar with the term Glock switch?
I am.
Okay. And what is a Glock switch?
A Glock switch is an aftermarket piece that can replace the back plate on a Glock pistol, which allows the user to fire it in fully automatic or select fire.
Okay. Now, your familiarity with that, is that something you've become familiar with through your job as a police officer?
Yes, sir.
And also through following the firearms industry?
Yes.
Okay. Now, converting a Glock handgun with a switch to becoming a fully automatic weapon, is that legal?
Not without the proper documentation from the ATF.
Okay. And if you don't have that proper documentation, that is a federal criminal offense, isn't it?
Let's sustain the objection at this point.
Okay. Is that a device that the Glock company endorses for enthusiasts in the United States?
No, Glock has their own version of a fully automatic handgun.
Okay. And that's a regulated handgun?
Yes, sir.
A Class 3 regulated, fully automatic handgun?
Yes, sir. It's a Glock 18.
So that's not a gun that someone can walk into a gun store and buy without having the proper paperwork that they've obtained through the federal government.
Correct.
I want to call your attention to June 23rd of 2024. What was your assignment at that time in the Tampa Police Department?
I was a member of the District 2 Day Shift Street Anti-Crime Squad.
Okay. And when you were en route to work that day, were you dispatched or asked to respond to a homicide scene?
Yes, sir, I was.
And did another officer from your unit also respond?
Yes,
And is his last name also De Jesus?
it is.
Any relationship?
None.
And what's his first name?
Patrick.
Okay. So you and Officer Patrick De Jesus respond to this homicide scene. Is that located near the University of South Florida?
Yes, sir, it's to the south on Fowler Avenue.
Is that a hotel complex at McKinley and Fowler?
Yes, sir, it is.
Your Honor, I move to publish State's Exhibit 1.
Okay,
I'm going to show you this overhead aerial photograph that's in evidence, States 1. Do you recognize what's depicted in the photograph?
I do.
Okay. When you responded, if you can just tell me where you first responded to, and then I will try to point it out on here from your description.
Obviously, there was a lot of there were officers on scene already, so real estate was a little bit limited for parking. We parked our vehicle. If you look at the building that's parallel to the roadway, which is Fowler Avenue, we parked on the grass closest to the roadway in front of that structure.
Would that be this area here?
Roughly, yes, sir.
Okay. And did Officer Patrick De Jesus, did he also park his vehicle there?
Yeah, we rode together.
Oh, you rode together? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I didn't realize that. All right. When you arrived, did you make contact, first of all, with other officers on that scene?
Yes, sir.
And you indicated there were other officers. Did that include uniformed officers?
Yes, sir.
And did they have control and command of that scene at that point?
Yes, sir.
Was there a crime scene tape either up or being put up?
Yes, sir.
Did you observe a motor vehicle generally in this area here that appeared to have damage to it?
I did, yes, sir. As I documented in my report, I observed a black four-door Dodge Charger in that area.
Okay. And did you get close enough to it to see the damage?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you familiar with that type of damage? Have you seen that before?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of damage was there to that car?
There were bullet shots throughout the front of the vehicle.
Okay. So bullet impacts or projectile impacts?
Yes, sir.
Did you get close enough to the car? Did you go close enough to it to see its contents?
I could see its contents, yes, sir.
All right. Could you see there was a deceased body in the car?
Yes, sir, I could.
And was that brought to your attention by other officers in the scene?
Yes, sir. Prior to my arrival, I was made aware by my supervisor that I was responding to a homicide scene.
Okay. Now, did you end up coming into contact with some civilian witnesses maybe up here in this area?
I did.
And did that include Armani Turner and a young woman with the last name of Randolph
Yes, sir.
and a Robert Howard?
Yes, sir.
And did you briefly speak with them and obtain what is known as pedigree information?
Yes, sir. I spoke very briefly to them. As you said, I got their pedigree information, just trying to assist any way I can, getting names or date of births, addresses, just information where potential witnesses could be contacted later.
Okay. And did you note that they were not from the city of Tampa or the Tampa Bay area?
Yes, sir. I did think it was quite odd that everybody that was still on scene had Jacksonville addresses.
Okay. And was it brought to your attention that the deceased person was an individual named Charles Jones?
Yes.
And that he was also from Jacksonville?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were on scene, did you notate that family members of Mr. Jones arrived on scene?
Eventually.
Okay. How long were you at the scene?
I believe I left the scene probably approximately sometime between 11:30, 12 o'clock maybe.
When you responded there with Officer Patrick De Jesus, was that at the request of your supervisor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what were you requested to respond there for? Why were you going there?
So our responsibilities were just to assist patrol in any way we could. Night shift obviously took the call due to the hour that it initially came out. Those units were scheduled to be off shift by that time, so we were to help relieve units, gather information, assist in the investigation any way we could until homicide arrived on scene and gather pedigree information like I did and try to relay that to kind of help them out.
Okay. And eventually, did homicide detectives and supervisors arrive on scene?
Yes, sir.
Did you make contact with them at some later point?
Yes, sir.
Did that include Detective Sergeant Rachel Cholnick?
Yes, sir, it did.
Are you familiar with Sergeant Cholnick?
I am.
Was she one of the detective sergeants of the homicide unit?
She is.
And as far as you know, are there multiple detectives assigned to the homicide unit?
Yes, sir, there are.
Is this the first homicide scene that you've been to while working at TPD?
No, sir.
In your experience responding to homicide scenes, do usually more than one homicide detective respond?
Yes, sir.
Usually several? Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir. Usually the supervisors and at least 2 detectives.
Did you at some point attempt to establish contact with an agency or a person in Jacksonville?
Yes, sir, I did.
And how did you go about doing that, and what did you do?
I just got on my phone and I Googled Jacksonville Sheriff's Office because I've never worked there, never worked with that agency. Made contact with, I couldn't tell you who the officer was that answered a desk phone or whatever line I was able to get a hold of. Explained my situation and asked if they had anybody in the gang unit or a detective that I could speak with that might have information or intelligence on potential gang members or gang activity.
Okay. Did you end up getting a return call or somehow making contact with a Detective Drabeck from
Yes.
the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
And did you speak with him and have a conversation with him?
I did.
After speaking with him, did you relay information you received from him to Detective Sergeant Cholnick and possibly to one of the CID captains?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. CID, what does that stand for?
Criminal Investigative Division.
Did you also pass information along to the City of Tampa Police Department gun unit?
I did. Detective McNamara.
Did you and Officer Patrick De Jesus provide additional assistance by writing preservation letters for Mr. Jones, Charles Jones' Instagram account and other potential involved parties?
Yeah, I was informed by Patrick De Jesus that he would be writing those preservation letters.
Okay. And a preservation letter, what is that and why is it done?
A preservation letter is just a request to a private company or Instagram or organization like a social media account such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever it's called now, just requesting that anything that is currently on the feed of a particular handle or name be saved and held in case it's attempted to be deleted.
Okay. And are you asking for that to be held so that at a later time, if probable cause is developed, that a search warrant can be obtained to then send to that company and obtain that information?
Yes, typically they'll give us a time frame in which that can be done in, and if a judge signs a search warrant, if a detective has probable cause, then they can access it.
Okay. Did either you or Detective Patrick De Jesus come across a post from Charles Jones earlier that day or at some prior time on his Instagram account demonstrating or showing him at a club known as Truth 18 here in Tampa?
Yes.
Based on that, did you or the other detective or Officer De Jesus, or both of you, respond to that location?
We did.
All right. And when you went there, were you attempting to obtain something or look for something?
Yes, we're attempting to locate any cameras on the exterior and see if we could watch the video, see if the victim was followed into the parking lot, or if we could see anybody in or around the victim's vehicle after he entered the nightclub.
Okay. When you arrived there, was that business open?
It was not, so we relayed the information of cameras, potential cameras at the location to my supervisor.
Officer, I'm going to show you some exhibits that are already in evidence. State 67G is in golf. Does this look like, first of all, the car that you saw within the crime scene with the bullet damage?
Yes, sir.
And is that damage shown in that photograph on the windshield and the hood area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here we go. States 31C. This has previously been identified in the evidence as a radio screen on a dashboard of a Nissan Altima, and I'd ask that you look at the areas I'm pointing to. 31D. This has been previously identified as a part of a projectile that was recovered. 31E. Officer, in your experience, and I'm talking about all of your experience you've had in your lifetime with firearms and seeing damage that has been caused to motor vehicles and other objects, when high-powered rifle rounds like 5.56 and 300 blackout, when they pass through an intermediate barrier such as automotive glass, does that, or can that, in your experience, have an effect on that projectile as far as the integrity of the bullet?
Objection, relevance, and also not
Overruled, go ahead.
Can you please repeat the question, please?
Yes, when 5.56 or 300 blackout rounds pass through intermediate barriers such as automotive glass or automotive sheet metal, can those barriers have an effect on the integrity of the bullet, the projectile itself?
Yes, sir. Typically, those rounds are jacketed with multiple types of metal, so they're designed to kind of come apart, especially through mediums such as tempered glass, which you find on automotive glass.
So the jacketing is on the exterior of the projectile?
Yes, sir.
And is it not uncommon for the jacketing to separate from the core?
Yes, sir, it is. It is common.
Is the core normally made out of lead?
Typically, yes, sir.
Your Honor, we would tender states 54A through triple C, 53A through X, 55A through double R.
Any objection?
No objection.
Okay, they'll be
publishing 53A. Officer, you've previously seen these photographs?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you understand these are photographs taken during the execution of the search warrant in Jacksonville. You were not present for that, correct?
I was not.
States 53B. States 53C. 53E. 53F. Let me ask you about this item here. Do you recognize the item?
Yes, sir, I do.
And what is that item?
That is what is referred to as a bikini cover for a Sig Sauer red dot optic.
Okay. And does it consist of two rubber cups that sit over the opposite ends of that optic?
Yes, sir, to protect the integrity of the glass when it's not in use.
Okay. And then the straps here are like pieces of rubber, like a rubber band that keep tension so they won't fall off of the optic?
Yes, sir.
And is that for an optic that is commonly mounted on a rifle?
Yes, sir, it is.
And that's produced by the company Sig Sauer, which is a firearms and ammunition manufacturing company, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
53G, is that a close-up of that? Now, the items that were within that sink and that liquid have been removed onto a sheet of paper in this photograph. Do you see markings on these items that indicate to you that these are all related to firearm components or items that go with firearms?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm going to zoom in on these so you can talk about them. You just talked about an optic cover for a Sig Sauer optic. This package that says Romeo 5, is the Romeo 5 a optic that is manufactured by Sig Sauer?
Yes, sir, it is.
And we can see here on the bottom the S and I of Sig Sauer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Going over here, we see, and I'm going to turn the photo, the beginnings of the word mag, and then there it looks like there's a P. Are you familiar with that commercial sign there for a company?
Yes, sir, that is the insignia for Magpul Industries.
Magpul Industries produces the majority of which is plastic components that are configured onto AR-15 rifles and also magazines.
Yes, sir.
Does that include magazines for 5.56 and 300 blackout?
Yes, sir.
Does it include magazines for, I think they're called P magazines, for Glock handguns?
Yes, sir, they do manufacture those.
And then states 53-1 is just a close-up of that Romeo packaging. We see here 1 by 20 millimeter. What does that designate?
That designates the aperture size of the optic.
Okay. And then it says side battery. Is that referring to the location of the battery that runs the optic, I guess, or the red dot, electronic red dot?
Yes, sir.
This packaging here that's been torn up, do you recognize what is depicted? And it looks like a schematic.
Yes, sir, that is a chassis system where you can mount a Glock pistol mainly. They do make them for other manufacturers. You can mount it inside of that plastic chassis and turn your handgun into a rifle of sorts.
Okay. Something that gives you 3 points of contact when you're firing the gun?
Yes, sir.
Does that require the firearm to be basically the slide to be moved up inside of a brace, a plastic brace?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so would this be a photo of the brace without the handgun, and this would be with the handgun inside of it?
Yes, sir.
Up here on the top of this, again, we see PMAG 50, I believe, AR M4. What is that packaging for?
That's a PMAG drum magazine.
for an AR-15 M4 style AR rifle?
Yes, sir.
AR PMags made by Magpul, can they take both 5.56 and 300 blackout?
Yes, sir, they can.
On this Magpul packaging, and we see Magpul here, the full word, we see some writing here. What does all this stand for where my finger is above the barcode?
PMAG is the designation that Magpul has for their magazines. AR, Armalite rifle. M4 is the military designation for an AR pattern rifle. 5.56 by 45 is the caliber in which the magazine can support, and drum is the style of magazine.
Okay. And it says, or it has written on there D60. Is that for drum 60 round?
Yes, sir.
That would be a drum magazine that holds 60 rounds of 5.56 rifle ammunition.
Yes, sir.
And then just one more, the packaging here, Magpul, PMag, and is that basically the same, a package, or cutting from the same package?
It appears so, yes, sir.
Now, interestingly here, we see 5.56 times 45 NATO, and you've already indicated that's common chambering in an AR-15. 223 Remington. Now, 223 Remington is a separate and different caliber, correct?
Yes, sir.
But can it be fired in a 5.56 rifle?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is it commonly fired in a 5.56 rifle?
Yes, it is actually just slightly more economical, so it's more common to see that caliber.
Publishing 54A. Sentinel, this word up here, do you recognize that and this item, this object here?
I do.
What is that?
Sentinel is an economical company that manufactures gun safes.
Is this a gun safe?
It is.
States 54B, is that just another photograph of that?
It appears so.
Does it appear it has a combination electronic lock?
Yes, sir.
States 54D, the inside of the safe. Does that appear to be the inside?
Yes, sir.
And do safes commonly, gun safes like this commonly have built-in holders or holsters for, we see magazines on the bottom, and we see these two handguns?
Yes, sir.
54F, is this a photo of shelving inside the safe?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in this photograph of the interior of the safe, I want to ask you about several of these items. Over here on the left-hand side, what are these items?
As I'm viewing the picture, to the far left looks like a bolt-action or single-action rifle of some sort. As we move to the right, it appears to be, from what I can tell, some sort of pump-action shotgun. And then it looks like you have two AR pattern rifles in varying barrel lengths.
Okay. And this area here, this item, is that a brass catcher?
That is.
And does it appear to be attached to that rifle?
Yes, sir.
Now, up here on this shelf, we see another item here, and I'll zoom in on it. Does this appear to be another brass catcher that is not attached to a firearm?
It does.
This item here, is that the base plate of a rifle magazine,
That is the base plate of a 30-round PMAG.
PMag, and that's made by Magpul?
Yes, sir.
Down here on the bottom, these two plastic cases, do you recognize those?
Yes, they appear to be Glock gun cases.
Does this appear to be the front of a Glock pistol case?
Yes.
This writing up here, G19GEN4, what does that designator stand for?
That stands for Glock Model 19, Generation 4, which is the fourth iteration of that firearms model.
FXD 5.51B.
That refers to the pull weight of the trigger, so which is 5.5 pounds.
And then 10 round indicates it has 10 round magazines.
Yeah, that means that one is a California or New Jersey compliant firearm.
All right. Those states have 10 round magazine limits.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so magazines or guns sold in those states have to have a 10 round limit.
Yes, sir.
And then is at the top of the case.
Yes, sir.
And I guess this is supposed to be a giant G and then OCK or Glock or L, I guess. And
Yeah, that's the Glock insignia.
Okay. States 54Y, is it Yankee? Is this the brass catcher now turned up where it can be seen?
Yes, sir.
And 54Z is in zebra or Zulu. Is this the inside of the brass catcher?
Yes, sir.
And do there appear to be two shell casings inside of that brass catcher?
Yes, sir.
Do those appear to be pistol shell casings?
They
Pistol
do.
round?
I do.
And just a close-up of them. B is in Bravo. You may have indicated this earlier, but the brass catcher has like a wire or a steel wire structure to it or framing.
Yes, sir. So it can attach to the rifle.
States 54F, F is in Foxtrot. Now, in that same safe, we can get a better view now. You've indicated you believe that to be a bolt-action rifle. This is a pump-action shotgun. We can see the extended tubular magazine, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then the pumping handle. And then this is an AR style rifle here on the right side. I can rephrase, Joe.
Rephrase.
What type of rifle is this on the right-hand side?
So you have two rifles on the right-hand side to the right of the shotgun. Both appear to be AR platform or pattern rifles.
When you say two, this area here, what is that?
That's the muzzle.
And then down here, is that another muzzle?
That is another muzzle, yes, sir.
54G, G is in golf. What is this item?
That is a barrel, muzzle, and handguard of an AR-15 pattern rifle
Okay.
with a brass catcher over it.
What is this on top of the rifle?
That's what is referred to as a front sight, which is used to assist in aiming.
This item here?
That's referred to as a hand stop.
Okay. Is that an item that is typically produced by Magpul or another manufacturer like Magpul?
Magpuls do make them, but there are a lot of manufacturers who make those.
And is this the brass catcher?
Yes, sir.
States 54HH. What is this item?
That appears to be an AR pistol.
Now, when you say AR pistol, what do you mean by the term pistol?
The National Firearms Act dictates that every civilian, unless they have a proper tax stamp that has a rifle of 16 inches or longer, that rifle doesn't have a 16-inch barrel, so it cannot have a buttstock. So a way around having a tax stamp to the ATF, if you remove the buttstock, it reclassifies the firearm as a pistol.
Okay. So that's the classification by the ATF regulations. Obviously, looking at it, it doesn't look like a handgun,
Correct.
what we would
Correct.
typically call a pistol. But in the firearms industry, that is known as a pistol.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you say it doesn't have a buttstock, what is this item sticking out the back here?
It's referred to as a receiver extension or a buffer tube.
The buffer tube, is that part of the action, the firing action of an AR-15?
Yes, sir, it helps complete the firing action.
And inside of that tube, is there a plunger with a spring that reciprocates when the gun is fired?
Yes, sir, there's,
Leading?
Sustain.
Okay. What's inside of the tube?
inside of the tube is what's referred to as a buffer, which comes in several different weights depending on the type of ammunition you're using. There's also a spring to push the buffer back forward and put the bolt back into battery and chamber another round.
And what is this item that's connected here? And we see it loop around and come back up this way.
That's a sling.
What is a sling?
It's used to affix the firearm to a person.
In this instance, does that sling have 2 points of contact? Or appear to?
It appears that there should be another point of contact up front, but they do make 1 point slings or single point slings.
And using a pistol like this with a sling, how would one go about attaching that to their body?
You just pass your arm or head through the loop end of the sling so the firearm doesn't fall to the ground and you let it go.
So if a person did that, would the firearm hang somewhere on their body, basically?
Yes, it would hang depending on where you put it, to the front or back.
States 54I. Does this appear to be the opposite side of that same gun?
Yes, sir.
Just for those of us who don't already know, what is this area of the gun here?
Well, what you're pointing to, it's the magazine well where the magazine is inserted, and the markings is what is referred to as roll markings on a firearm.
This area below here, it appears to have somewhat of a hollow. Is that where the magazine fits in?
It is.
The trigger?
Yes.
I'm pointing at? Okay. And this would be a grip?
Yes, sir.
What is this object on top of the rifle?
Appears to be an optic of some sort
And what is that utilized for?
for aiming.
.54 mm. Does that appear to be the same firearm or a different firearm?
That is a different firearm.
And what type of firearm is that?
That is an AR pattern rifle.
And looking at it, can you tell what the length of the barrel is, or approximate the length?
It's either going to be a 14.5 or a 16-inch barrel.
What is this triangular shape up here?
That is referred to as the front sight post.
Okay. And is this, again, the magazine well here?
Yes, sir.
Does this firearm appear to have a brass catcher attached to it? And I can show you the photograph again from 54 mm.
We are not looking at the side with the ejection port, but it does not appear to have a brass catcher on it.
Now, you talked about earlier about a butt stock or a stock. Do you see that item in this photograph, what you were talking about?
Yes, sir.
Right. So the prior firearm had a buffer tube extension. Does this have something different attached to it here?
So that firearm as well has a buffer tube extension, but over it is a buttstock.
Okay. Is the firearm extension or the buffer tube extension running on the top of that buttstock?
Yes, sir.
When a person's firing a rifle like this, would this area here at the end of the buttstock commonly contact some part of their body if it's being fired in an upright position?
Yes, sir. It would contact their shoulder.
Now, states 54P, P to use repeater, on this side of the firearm, and this is still the same firearm we were just talking about, the AR style rifle. this roll mark here indicates CAL multi. What does that stand for?
So with that, typically when a firearm is sold complete by a manufacturer, they will indicate what the rifle is chambered in, so the end user doesn't accidentally put the wrong caliber inside the firearm, injuring themselves. But you can purchase a lower receiver stripped, which means that there's no internal parts. You can order those from the manufacturer and kind of build your own rifle or pistol. So they put the roll mark of multi-cal or cal multi, because they don't know what caliber the end user is going to use a small frame AR platform rifle for.
When you talk about lower and upper, what is this round item here?
Overall, go ahead.
What you're pointing to refers to the takedown pin, which separates the lower half of the rifle from the upper half of the rifle.
And you can see in this photograph a line that travels along horizontal on the gun and then curves up. From that line up, is that considered the upper?
Yes, it is referred to as an upper receiver.
And does the upper receiver also attach to the barrel and the foregrip?
Yes, sir.
And then the area of the firearm that is below that line, is that the lower?
That is the lower receiver.
And at this point here, does it hinge in some way when it's removed or popped out?
Yes.
Now, this is 54SS, S is in Sierra. You talked about the brass catcher and the ejection port. Do you see the ejection port on this firearm?
I do.
Now on the opposite side?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is this the ejection port where I'm pointing?
Yes, sir, it is.
This little rectangular item here, what is that?
That's referred to as an ejection port cover.
Okay. How does that work?
It's just a thin piece of sheet metal that you can flip up and secure it closed to prevent dust or dirt from getting inside the firearm.
States 54V, V is in Victor. What are these items?
Those appear to be magazines
And what are they for?
for an AR pattern rifle.
States 54F. Do you recognize this box and this box over here to the left? And when I say this, it's a green and yellow box that's sitting upright on the right-hand side of the photograph.
Yes, sir, I do.
And what are those boxes?
Those are ammunition manufacturers.
Remington, is that a company that manufactures ammunition?
Yes, sir.
American Eagle, is that a brand that is manufactured, I believe, by Federal?
Yes, sir, it is.
And is this item that is there inside of, is that an ammunition box?
Yes, sir.
States 55M, these items, or do they appear to be at the bottom of the ammunition box?
Those appear to be several different calibers of ammunition.
Okay. Do you recognize any of them?
Yeah, I recognize the shotgun ammunition, which are the larger red and blue ones, plastic cased, and then the longer, pointier projectiles appear to be 5.56 or 2.23.
Okay. And this appears to be some type of pistol round, maybe a .357 Magnum or something?
It looks like something that belongs in a revolver.
States 55S. Another ammunition box. What's contained in the box?
Those appear to be 5.56 or 223 rounds.
.55BB. These three items, what are those?
Those are referred to as ammo cans.
States 55N, N is in Nancy. The photograph shows multiple cartridge cases, correct?
Yes, sir.
And it looks like every so many number, they're facing different directions.
It appears so.
Okay. Do you recognize that type of ammunition?
I do.
And what is it?
That's either 223 or 5.56 ammunition.
And we talked earlier, Officer De Jesus, about Glock manufactured pistols and your familiarity with them. Are there standard loadings here in Florida and states that do not have magazine restrictions as far as the amount of rounds that are in the magazines?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so a Glock 19, a Model 19, which we saw in that photograph, what's the standard capacity of that magazine?
15 rounds.
The Glock that you carry on duty, the 47, is that a 17-round magazine?
Yes, sir.
And those two magazines in 9mm double stack magazine pistols, like the 19 and the 17 and the 45 and I think the 47 model, are those standard loadings for Glock magazines?
Yes, sir.
Does Glock make an extended magazine that holds over 30 rounds in it?
Yes, sir. They manufacture a 33-round magazine.
33 rounds.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you familiar with those magazines?
I am.
Okay. That 33-round magazine, if it's loaded into a Glock 19 or a Glock 17, how does that appear in the gun?
It just appears as a long, like the magazine is fully extended beyond the grip, so it looks like a long stick coming out of the bottom of the grip.
Prior to your involvement in this investigation, specifically your conversation with Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, were you aware of the gang activity or any gang wars that were occurring in Duval County?
No, sir.
Have you ever heard of, prior to this investigation, 6 Block or ATK or 1200?
Never.
Had you ever heard of Julio Foolio, that name?
No.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll tender the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, cross.
All right, so you know a lot about guns.
Somewhat.
All right, do you know if Alicia Andrews knows anything about any of the guns that you mentioned?
No, sir.
You did not conduct the search warrant for the photos that you were describing earlier.
You are correct, sir.
while I'm getting set up, who took those photographs?
No clue, sir.
Do you know which agency took the photographs?
Sounds like Jacksonville Sheriff's Office did, sir.
And is today the first time you're reviewing these photographs, or have you seen them before?
Today, it was the first time I've seen them.
Do you know if any of these firearms were used in the murder of Julio Foolio, Charles Jones?
Like I said, sir, I wasn't there. I don't know the details of the firearms that were found at that location.
Do you know who these firearms belong to?
No, sir, I do not.
All right. Did someone tell you that the house that these firearms were recovered from is the house where Sean Gathright lives?
I don't know who resides there, sir.
All right. So you wouldn't know if Sean Gathright's mother also resides at that house?
You would be correct, sir.
And you wouldn't know if Sean Gathright's mother is in the military or was in the
Objection, Your
military?
Honor. Speculation.
You can ask the question, just answer if you know or not.
Facts, not evidence. Also,
Ro, go ahead, you can answer.
I'll ask the question again.
Thank you.
You would not know whether Sean Gathright's mother was in the military before, correct?
Correct.
All right. The safe. You saw a photograph of a safe, correct?
Yes, sir.
A safe with some rifles inside of it?
Along with other things, yes, sir.
That safe was not broken into by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, correct?
I don't know what the mode of entry was to that safe, sir.
So you don't know if they used a key that they received from someone?
I already told you I don't know what mode of entry they use, sir.
All right. And you don't know if the brass catchers that you saw in the photographs, you don't know if those brass catchers were used in the murder of Charles Jones, correct?
Correct.
So showing you 54A, states 54A. You see the safe there?
Yes, sir.
Do you know whose room this is? This safe was found in?
No, sir.
When people go to the the range, you said earlier that they use brass catchers to catch the brass that comes from the expelled projectiles. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Like normal, everyday people, right?
It's something that you can legally buy, yes, sir.
All right. And when you go to the range does not want all of your brass all over the place, correct?
Depending on the range, yes, sir.
They typically make you clean that up.
Yes, sir, they do.
You know who these firearms, who these weapons, who they were registered to?
No, sir.
Did you ever look that up?
It's against the Florida Constitution to have a gun registry, sir, so no.
Well, you can look up who purchased guns, correct?
I can, but that's not a registry.
So, forget about the registry. Let me back up. In Florida, you can purchase a gun. You can get a bill of sale when you buy the gun, correct?
Yes, sir, you can.
And then there's this idea that a gun can be registered, but they can't be registered in Florida, right?
That would be correct.
All right, so there's no gun registry, correct?
That is correct.
But there's a record of who purchases firearms, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there's a registry, and then there's this record of who purchased the firearm, correct?
Yes, sir.
You never looked up the registry because it doesn't exist, right?
I didn't look it up, sir, because I've never seen those firearms in person.
Okay, and because you couldn't look up a registry even if you did see the firearms, right?
I could not look up a registry that does not exist, sir, no.
Correct.
But if you're asking about the bill of sale, I guess in
Well,
theory...
I'll get to that part. I just want to make sure we're on the same
sorry,
page
I
about
thought
the
I was
registry.
answering your question, sorry.
The registry first.
There is no registry, sir.
Correct. So the bill of sale, the record of who purchased the firearm, you never looked that up for any of these weapons.
No, sir.
So you don't know who these weapons belong to.
Judge, objection. That's two different things. That's a confusing question.
Well, you clean it up on redirect. Overruled.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. You don't know who purchased the firearms, correct?
That would be correct, sir.
And you don't know who the firearms belong to.
That would be correct.
You don't even know if Sean Gathright ever touched these firearms before.
You would be correct.
Do they make brass catchers for Glocks?
Don't know, sir.
Is there any way to put a brass catcher on a pistol?
I don't know. I've never attempted it, sir.
This photograph, 54, State's Exhibit 54, it looks like 2, Roman numeral 2? Or maybe that's II.
I think it's II, Council.
II.
Oh, is it LL?
Or
It's L is in Lima, LL.
it's in lowercase. Yeah. It's, so, for the record, 54LL. Do you see the wording on the firearm there?
Yes, sir, I do.
The "Don't tread on me." Are you familiar with what that is? Is that like? Tell me first. Are you familiar with it?
I am.
Okay. What does that signify?
In popular culture and history.
Let's start with popular culture.
In popular culture, it's used by a lot of people who, who I guess feel like it emboldens them to put something like that on their firearm.
All right. And then you said another definition?
Well, in history, it's a naval flag, sir.
A naval flag?
Yes, sir.
Like for someone in the military?
Well, if they were in the military in the 1800s, yes, sir.
All right. Do you know why there was packaging inside of the sink at the home?
No clue, sir.
So showing you Exhibit 53A. You don't know why that packaging was in the sink.
No idea, sir.
You don't know who put it there.
No, sir.
You don't know if JSO put it there.
Never been to that residence, sir.
And no one told you anything about it.
No, sir.
All right. Well, given that you did not take the photographs, that you don't know anything about who owned or possessed the firearms or whether these firearms were used in this murder, is there any particular reason why you're testifying about these firearms?
Sir, I'm only answering the questions that I'm asked.
All right. And then you mentioned ATK and 6 Block, right?
I did not mention that, sir.
Well, the state mentioned it to you, and you said you never heard about 6 Block.
He asked me if prior to my involvement with this case, had I ever heard of those organizations, and I answered the question.
Right. So you all mentioned 6 Block on direct, correct?
I'm sorry, repeat the question. I don't understand what you're trying to ask me.
I'm asking you if on direct examination the state asked you about 6 Block. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
All right. Since this investigation started, did you learn what 6 Block is?
I learned during this investigation of the organization, and that's the extent of my knowledge of them, sir.
All right. When you called over to JSO on the day of the investigation of the murder, someone from JSO told you about 6 Block.
Yes, sir.
They told you that the victims that you came across, they were members of 6 Block, right?
Yes, sir.
That include Julio Foolio,
Yes, sir.
Charles Jones, right?
Yes, sir.
Gino Norris.
I don't have a roster of who 6 Block is, sir.
So you don't remember the names, correct?
No, sir.
But you were told that the victims were members of 6 Block.
Objection, hearsay.
Well, he's opened the door, so to the extent you remember, you can answer. But go ahead, if you remember.
You were told that the victims were members of 6 Block.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Okay, redirect.
Officer De Jesus, the "don't tread on me" symbol that we saw on that rifle, is that commonly placed on firearms in the Second Amendment community?
Yes, sir.
In the firearms community?
Yes, sir.
Is it commonly seen in firearms manufacturing on firearms?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said it's a naval flag.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever heard it referred to as a Gadsden flag?
I have.
Okay. And are you aware of the fact that during the Revolutionary War and just prior, that Americans in this country utilized that flag to tell the British not to tread on them?
Yes, sir.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Okay. It is seen, is it not, as a patriotic flag to a lot of people in this country?
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to talk to you about, because I think there's some confusion here about firearms registries and bills of sale. Is there a firearm registry in the state of Florida?
No, sir.
You can buy a gun and it's not registered, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you cannot register, a manufacturer, a seller, a retailer cannot register a firearm.
That is
Correct?
correct.
In this state. It violates state law, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because it's an infringement on the Second Amendment, correct? Is it an infringement on the Second Amendment?
It is against the Florida Constitution for there to be a registry within the state of Florida.
And that's a section of the Florida Constitution that mirrors the Second Amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But when you buy a gun in this state, there are certain forms that have to be filled out. I believe they are ATF regulation forms.
Yes, sir.
In law enforcement, is there a database through the ATF that state agencies such as the Tampa Police Department or city agencies can utilize to find out the original sale of that firearm?
Yes, sir.
Now, once the original sale of the firearm occurs, can the person who possesses the firearm then make a private sale to another individual?
Yes, sir.
And in the state of Florida, is that required to be tracked in any way?
No, sir.
Have you ever tried to track the original sale and owners of firearms?
No, sir.
Overruled.
Have you
opened
done
the
that
door.
in your
Go
career
ahead.
with the Tampa Police Department?
No, sir.
You're not aware of tracking, doing an ATF track?
I'm aware of it. I've never done it.
Okay, all right. You've seen it done by other officers in your agency?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And if you determine who the original purchaser is, the original purchaser is, that will also show the original seller or retailer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when firearms are sold, they have to be sold through a federal firearms licensed agency or retailer?
Rephrase.
Sure. When a gun is sold in this state or any state in the union, does it have to occur through an FFL?
Yes, sir.
And again, tracking that original sale, is that necessarily going to tell you who owns the gun or who it belongs to?
No, sir.
And since you were asked to speculate about the sheriff's office in Jacksonville, let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you know if the state of Florida in this trial has called anyone from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office so far?
No, sir.
Do you know if we plan to?
No, sir.
Do you know if we plan to call Jacksonville Sheriff's Office detectives this Monday?
No, sir.
Are you aware of the fact that they may be traveling here to testify
No, sir.
about the search warrant and those photographs?
No, sir.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, may this witness be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're free to go.
You have a good day.
All right, it's 12:15, so we will go ahead and take our lunch recess. We will reconvene at 1:15. Just remember my previous admonition while we're on the break. Don't talk to anybody, including each other, about the case. Don't read, watch, listen to any news accounts, and don't do any independent investigation. All right, see you guys at 1:15.
All rise.
Do you guys want to take up the defense motion to exclude remote and irrelevant text messages that was filed by Ms. White at 1:46 in the morning? You don't even look tired, Ms. White. Okay, you want to talk about it now, or?
Judge, can we do it right after lunch, or?
That's fine. So you guys eat back here at 1:10. Okay? All right, see you then.
Did you get a copy of it?
I did. Clerk, printed it up for me.